So like that's just a breakdown of creating the OpenGL rendering engine, which is just the first step with all of its sub-steps of my whole list of big, like higher level things I have to do. So create OpenGL rendering engine, create website with dev blog and lightweight client install and login server and forum, create all social media accounts, create a client mode, create a client-side hidden server to handle multiplayer traffic, and in order to have free scaling and infinitely, so we don't have to buy big expensive servers for online play. We're going to create blockchain style, torrent style downloader system where everyone chips in to find out, to send out full client downloads. So that way we don't have to have giant servers to issue out that. Although we could have the downloads come off SourceForge or something, but once you have like a big client base, using a torrent style system would be way faster because you won't be limited in bandwidth by like whatever site you choose to mirror your download links. And plus, if your game releases and it gets thousands of players the first day, if the game's really popular and you market it well, that could cause problems for download speeds, I think, no matter what website or service you use. So I think that having a torrent system would be a really smart move, so I'm doing it that way, just in case, I never know if my game might go big. Create a client-side blockchain-style, torrent-style encrypted stats system, so all the player stats will be stored like blockchain on every player's computers. They'll have every other player's stats on it, so that way it will be distributed. You won't have to come to my website to see your stats, which would make my website slow if everybody's always looking their stats up. AI to generate player characters and enemies. AI to generate textures. AI to generate maps. So, like I said, we're going to create software that actually produces these things, so I don't have to make all the art assets myself. In order to compete with the top AAA studios without having an art department, you have to create algorithms that generate your art. And if you're going for realism, and if you can create algorithms that can realistically create models off of photos, then you're hacking your way into pro level art and saving tons of time trying to create all those little items. It'd be overwhelming to try to hand construct every little asset in a game. Every little bottle, every little leaf blowing, like it's just too much work. Create AI to generate objects, we got that. AI for game physics. Technically game physics, you might say that's not really AI. So I could just say game physics, but I just kept saying create AI, so whatever. AI for player and object animations. AI for intelligent clothing. AI for amazing lighting. AI for particle effects. AI shouldn't even be in here, but whatever. Particle effects, such as hair and grass, then just normal particle effects. Music generation, based on popular movies and games. So I will create auto-generated music with AI. AI for voice synthesis, so all I have to do is type up scripts, and I don't have to hire voice actors. AI for single-player storyline and gameplay. No, I didn't say AI for that. That's not AI. I'm going to create the story and gameplay. And I'm going to copy popular movies and games in order to get a good pacing and plenty of inspiration for my story and follow a formula. So it's not going to be like really creative or anything. It's just going to be like a collection of my favorite stories a mashup. Create game mechanics. Create AI for NPCs. Create AI to play my single player campaign and beat it and test things. So it's going to be an AI beta tester. Create botnet to play the multiplayer in massive battles to test bugs of large multiplayer stuff. And I'll actually use my existing botnet, which is going to be growing over time over the years, to be able to test it from many different IP addresses and actually have simulated battles. so that will help find any bugs with big battles. Create PlayStation and or VR versions of the game so it has more than one platform. I mean, if you're going to create a game and put this many years into it, it'd be stupid to release just for PC. You got to release it for all the top platforms. That way you can maximize sales and maximize your return on investment of time. So you want to be able to port it for sure. Create AI for other language translation and voice synthesis for improved international sales. So like I can have a Spanish game and stuff, and it will all be computer voice synthesis. So once I write my English script for what the characters are going to say, I can have a translator translate it to other languages, and then the AI will read it using voice synthesis in all the different languages. So that will make my game able to be localized to any country. Create game trailer and gameplay specific trailer, copying popular games. So we're going to create like, using popular games and movies, we're going to create like a really epic trailer. It's very important. And then after all that's done, we'll create our Kickstarter campaign. We're not going to do that till we're 100% done with dev. It's just a pre-order system really. Because otherwise, if I created a Kickstarter as a solo developer, people would be like, when's it going to be done? When's it going to be done? And they'd be really angry. So I'm going to create the Kickstarter campaign right before my marketing campaign. So I might do 3 months of marketing. So the Kickstarter campaign, they'd want their game in 3 months anyways, so that matches up nicely to do the Kickstarter campaign, then the marketing campaign. And the Kickstarter really is basically a form of marketing. But yeah, I feel like to create a Kickstarter anywhere near the beginning or middle of the process would be stupid, because there will be a lot more hype and reason to kickstart a game if it's already pretty much done, and in my case, completely done. And they'll just get basically a discount for being a Kickstarter supporter, and I can use their Kickstarter money to fund, to some extent, my marketing campaign. And I'm going to spend tens of thousands of dollars paying streamers and YouTubers to play my game on Let's Plays. I'm actually going to bribe them. Now, I'll first ask them, like, will you play my game, and show them a trailer and stuff, and I'll contact them by email. But if they don't respond because they're too big and I'm just another voice in the crowd, I'll say, like, hey, I'll give you $500 to make a Let's Play of my game. And they'll be like, oh, snap, I'll do it. So that's how I'll get, like, all the top YouTubers and Twitch players to play it. I'll pay them. Or just ask first, and if they won't, I'll pay them. So there's going to be tens of thousands of dollars I'm going to invest into the marketing. And that way, like, can you imagine if my game had Lyric, Soda Poppin', Markiplier, PewDiePie, the Rad Brad, like all these people playing it, like all at once? Everybody's going to be talking about it. Like, that'll create an enormous impact. So it's definitely worth greasing some hands to get that ball rolling, make it happen. That will get my game out. It's not going to be some dead game nobody ever heard of. Like, everyone's going to hear my game. Yeah, I wouldn't ask for investors early on if it's like a 50-year project. That's right. You want to ask after the game's done. And then here I just start going down. I took the top one. These are like bullet points of the major steps of the game development cycle. You guys saw the OpenGL rendering engine. I went through every sub point of that, so like broke that down. And then here I start breaking down this one. So create websites, that's the second step. So I broke down that. And then create a client mode, I broke down that. So I'm describing each one, I'm breaking it down. So you have to create like an overall game plan, and then you have to break down each bullet point into a series of steps to actually complete it. Otherwise, you have no roadmap and you have no direction. So it's very important to create, like at first I created my game design, and I just took notes on all kinds of different things on here, pages and pages of design elements and where I want the direction to be and the gameplay and how many players I want, blah, blah, blah. And then I went and created an actual outline for the phases of development. And then I'm now in the process of breaking down each phase. Here's the phases. Each phase into the steps breaking down that phase. So these are like high-level phases that have lots of steps involved. So that's how I'm creating like a really strategic, prioritized map of what I need to be doing. And I can just start breaking it down. Over the years, I just chip away, doing one little step at a time. So there you have it. That's my my game dev process and plan so far as like really laying out what I have to do.